Welcome. This DDI CADcast is part 3 of the Drawings and Detailing section of the 2013 SOLIDWORKS What's New. I'm Michael Nolte. So this is the last of the 3 sections, so that we've got 2 items we're going to be covering, the other annotations. So there's a lot of little stuff in the other annotations, and then also the table section. So there's a quick little bit of on the tables that we'll go over as well. So let's go and get started, and let's go and take a look at the first item of the other annotations. This very first one that we're going to be taking a look at is if we wanted to put a watermark, maybe a watermark going behind, diagonally behind our model here. So what we can do is if we right click and edit the sheet format, so you do have to be editing the sheet to do this option. I'm going to add myself an annotation in here. Just kind of call it watermark just as an example. Let me go and get that typed in. Let me zoom in here so we can actually see what I typed in. I'll go and change the size. So I'm just going to do a double click on there, push this up to 80 millimeters, and I'll go and change the color as well. So I'm going to shift that over to a gray color and go and hit OK. And let's see, I think the other thing is I want to also change the angle. So I'm going to shift this over to let's see, maybe 30 degrees of an angle. So this annotation will be sloped here. Let me zoom back out, get this moved into position, and then when we get back to editing the sheet. So let me go and bring all those back here. So right click, edit sheet. You'll see this is the normal. This is what we were experiencing prior to 2013, as our annotations would be right over the top of it. So I'm going to get back to editing the sheet, and if I right click, I get this option called Display Note Behind Sheet, and this is something new for 2013, and it's only in the sheet format. So I'll get back to editing the sheet. Now you can see my annotation is actually behind the model. So again, very useful item for 2013. Real quick, I'll go and show you that you do not get it when you do a annotation while you're editing sheets. So watermark, I'll go and right click over it here, and you see that I don't get the option to put it behind the sheet there. So again, it's just one of those things you have to do while you're editing the sheet format. Okay, I'm going to go and take a look at that annotations right click menu one more time, and you'll see that it is checked for display behind sheet there. Alright, so let's go and get moving on to the next section here. With 2013, they've added Dowel Pin Symbol support for our drawing. So I've got a part here that I use the new hole wizard for adding dowel pins. So I've added a bunch to the top of this plate. Go and switch over to the drawing. And then before I actually go through and drop in my top view, I do want to change or turn off one setting here. So I'm going to go into my options, over to my document properties tab, down to detailing. There's actually a check mark for auto inserting of dowel pin symbols for part and also for assembly. So I'm going to turn both those off for right now. Go and accept, and then I'll go and drag in my view here. So I'm going to grab my top view, place that onto my model. Notice that I did end up getting my center tick marks, so if you want those, you might also turn off the or leave on the auto inserting of auto center marks there. If I go to the annotations tab, you'll actually see that there is no option on the annotations tab. So it is something you do have to go through one of the menus there. So insert, down to annotations, and then it's near the bottom down here, so Dowel Pin Symbol. So I'm going to grab that, and I want to do for a particular layer, so I'll just leave it on the dimension layer, and then I want it to do for all holes. I'll go and hit OK there. Notice what it didn't do. I didn't add any of the dowel pin holes, so I'm going to actually pre-select the view. So you could select the view before or after, but you got to make sure that you have the view selected. And then I'll go back to my insert menu, insert for all holes there, and then I'll go and hit OK after I see the dowel pin show up. Alright, so I'm going to go and use the same drawing to show the improvements to the geometric tolerancing dialog here. So I'm going to go and build myself a symbol here. So I'll go and do a profile of surface, go and set up a tolerance, maybe 0.005, and then set in the datum, so A, B, and C here. So I've got my tolerance built up. So the new option that they've added is this below frame option. So I can go and type in a note into the GTOL symbol there. But before I hit OK, I do want to make sure that I place it. And then I'll go and hit OK. And let's move this into place. And I'm going to go and zoom in here. Mind you, this is a C-size sheet, so it's a pretty small annotation. But in the years past, what you'd have to do is create your GTOL and then add it into the text field. Alright, so this next one is for those that are working with companies or manufacturers overseas. This is for the Japanese industrial standard for weld symbols. So they've actually made improvements for the weld symbols here. So I'm going to go and open up the what's new here. So help, what's new, and HTML. Just to show you real quick the improvements to the GIS weld symbol options here. So drawing and detailings, we'll get into the GIS section. So they've added these new symbols as part of the GIS standard. And then they've also included some additional finishing methods that are now part of the GIS standard as well. Again, GIS is the Japanese industrial standard there. Alright, so we need to make a setting change here in our document properties. So I'm going to go Options, Document Properties tab, go into the annotations, and then I'm going to get down to the weld symbols. I want to make sure or make my change over to the GIS. Most of us usually use ANSI here in the US, but let's go and switch over to the GIS for this example here. So I'm going to go and hit OK, and we'll go and grab a weld symbol. You'll see this on our annotations tab, and we are in the GIS weld symbol standards. So I'm just going to go and turn on a few things. This weld symbol is not going to be accurate. You'll see that it takes us to the GIS weld symbol library. I'm going to grab the single flare or single flange, which is one of the new ones. I'm going to say that we're going to do a stitch weld on this, and I'll go and set maybe a concave, and then we'll be able to pick out that finishing method that we saw. So I'm going to indicate to do a grind after the weld there. Alright, so move this off to the side, and then I'll go and place my weld symbol onto my weld bead there in the corner. From there, just a matter of hitting OK, and we've got our weld symbol. Again, these can be copy and pasted and reused. This next one is a enhancement that a lot of you have been requesting. This pertains to either sheet metal or weldment parts. So here I've got a weldment part, and weldments actually store their custom properties a little bit deeper at an individual body level. So I want to add a note, and I want a note to reflect the custom property relative to just the particular cut list body. So I'm going to go and create a couple of them here and get them linked. So I'm just putting some notes in ahead of time. I'm going to do the link to property button and select components to which annotation is attached. And this is the new option, the Cutlass Properties. So now it gives me just the cut list items of that particular body that I'm pointing at. So I brought in those 45 degrees. I'll go and do another one here for the length. Again, file properties, component to which annotation is attached, and Cutlass Properties. The real advantage of this is the fact that it's bringing all the information into a usable format that's coming from the Cutlass properties or custom properties. I'll go and show you here in the middle of this segment where those are coming from. But it's something that people have been looking for or requesting for a while, to be able to get the information from a weldment file or a weldment part and bring that in. You can go and add whatever else you want in here. I'll go and add a couple of symbols in there, so I'll get my degrees for each of the angles dropped in. And these are linked back to the part. So if I made a change at the part, then the annotations would update. So if my length changed or anything else changed, it would update. So I'm going to go and open up the part so you can see where this information is coming from. I'm going to expand out the cut list and go and do a properties on my cut list there. So these are the custom properties specifically to those cut list bodies. So it's given us the ability of bringing that stuff in and linking to it. So really useful item. So besides doing a note, we also have the ability of actually doing a weldment cut list table. So let's go and add one of those in here. So I'm going to go to my tables. I'll go and grab the weldment cut list table. Select the view so it brings that in. And then I'll go and just hit OK there. I already have a template set up that has all these brought in already, or most of them brought in for me. But you can go and manually add them as need be. So you can see all my weldment parts. The rest are plates that are blank there. So if I select the column, you'll see cut list, and then I have all my different properties pertaining to those items there. So those can be changed, the columns can be reordered, but very useful. The final improvement that they've done pertains to balloons with the weldment cut list. So I'm going to go and turn off my border here of my balloon. I'll go and set my item to Cutlass Properties. Notice that it doesn't give me a drop down. Well, it doesn't know what custom properties are available. So I'm going to click on one of my parts first, and then come over and then go and pick out one of my custom properties. I'll go and set it to length, and then I'll go and drop one in here. So once I get it established, it's really easy to actually go through and drop a bunch of them, making all the total lengths as balloon items. So a real quick way of creating or adding another dimension to your drawing. On the sheet metal side, we also have a Cutlass Properties list that we can drop in as well. So I'm going to go and bring in a flat pattern here, drop that onto my drawing, and then if I right click anywhere over that drawing view, come down to annotations, I have this option called Cutlass Properties. So if I select that, it gives me a annotation note that essentially has all those useful items pertaining to that sheet metal part that are generated automatically for me. So good bit of information real quick. This next new item here is kind of a fun one for SOLIDWORKS 2013. It's the revision cloud. So you can get it off the annotations tab on the command manager, or you can go insert annotations and then grab revision cloud. So we have 4 different types. I'm going to start out with a rectangular revision cloud to start with, and the revision clouds do have layers. So I created a revision cloud layer that's red, so I'll go and place one in here. One click to drop one corner, drop the other. They can be resized. You can also change the radius of each of the cloud wrinkles there. Let's go and add another one in here. So this is the ellipse. So I'm going to drag one out, and then I'll move it into place so I can put these over the top of tables. So this happens to be a whole table, but I'll go and do another one here. This is a irregular polygon. So a regular polygon gives us straight line segments. So I'm going to draw out each side here, and it'll actually kind of interpret the little ruffles or wrinkles on the edges there, and then allows me to close it at the end. Movable, so I can actually shift them around, get them into place wherever I need them to be. Ones that are done next to a drawing view will actually be attached to that drawing view, so they will move with the drawing view. Let's go and do edit sheet here, And notice that Revision Cloud is not available for sheet formats, so you can't do those on your sheet formats for the title block. Alright, so I'm going to go and do a freehand. Go and set my radius a little bit smaller. 0.1 looks good. And I'll go and change the layer that it's going to be attached on. Freehand essentially is just that. It follows your cursor however you draw around stuff. It'll allow you to create a shape. And then you click again to close it off. Not adjustable, but a great way of creating an unusual shape there. The other thing that might be useful is if you need to put an annotation with a revision cloud. We'll go and just place one inside this cloud here. Get something typed in. Typical red line type notation there. So I'll go and get that moved into the center. And then if I control select both my cloud and my note, I can right click and then group. So now if I group them together, I'll be able to move the cloud or the note, and they'll track together. I can right click and ungroup them if need be as well. So as far as the settings go, it is document properties, so it's specifically to your drawing that you're working on, or you can open up your drawing template. So I'm in annotations and then revision cloud. So all my default settings can actually be set within the document properties and revision cloud. Few miscellaneous minor things left over. This kind of pertains to the clouds in a way. This was a drawing that was actually opened up in the eDrawings program. So it's the original SOLIDWORKS drawing file, but it was opened in eDrawings, and then eDrawing markups were added to it. So now those eDrawings markups are visible within the SOLIDWORKS program itself. They can't be edited, but you can view them. So if you did need to edit them, you'd want to go back to the original eDrawings program. But it's a great way of doing markups or redlining here. A couple of other minor items here. I'm going to go and add in a annotation note. And this is kind of a useful thing. So I'll go and type in something in my annotation note. But now I can actually use the scroll wheel to zoom out on my mouse. Click on a dimension, so it's a linked value, and then scroll back into my note. So the scrolling ability has been allowed now while you're editing the note. Let's go and move up to the next item here. So we've got a detail B with a scale of 6:1. So it used to be that we couldn't change those. Those were locked down as far as the descriptions go. But those can be changed now. So if you go to the document properties, come down to the view labels group, and then pick out the item that you're addressing. So we're going to look at the detail, and we're not following standard, so we uncheck that, and then we type in whatever we want instead of the detail name. So we'll go and give it a cutout name, and then same thing with the scale. I'll go and change that name to something that's custom or unique to my company. So these are a couple of new enhancements for SOLIDWORKS 2013 that allows you to greatly enhance the look and feel of your drawings to greatly match what you're wanting to do with your drawings and match your company standards. So the very last section for the drawing and detailings of what's new for SOLIDWORKS 2013 pertains to tables. I'm going to go and insert a bill of material table here and show you some of the new enhancements that they've added for tables. And bill of materials, general tables, any of the tables this pertains to. Bill of materials is probably the most widely used. First thing is the vertical cell padding is defaulted to 1 millimeter now, which gives us a good little buffer as far as the height goes. The other thing is, as I drag my cells wider, notice my vertical height will adjust and update with it as well. I'll go and adjust my spacing, so you'll see that it'll adjust down and up as I move it from side to side there. So this has more of an Excel feel as far as the functionality goes. Again, real easy to manipulate the height of the cells now. So this is the end of our drawing and detailing section for SOLIDWORKS 2013. Thanks for watching our DDI CAD cast. Please come back and visit us at ddicad.com.